Hello, Madeline. Your Aunt Nina said that I should really be showing you how to actually draw on paper itself, which I have no problem doing. It's just easier for me to record everything on the laptop and just share my screen. Like, it just took me a few minutes to figure out how I'm going to set up a camera to record a piece of paper that I could draw on. But here it is. This pad is kind of I don't know, it's more of a graphic designer kind of thing because I have the dots every quarter inch on this. Um, if yeah, just blank paper. I do have a drawing pad, but it's just too big for the space I'm trying to draw on this table that's full of so much junk. So I'm gonna take one of my drawing pencils here. This one is actually pretty hard. I'm gonna go something a little lighter. Let me get this one. So I have some different drawing pencils that don't have erasers on them, but the lead on them, some of them are softer, some of them are harder, and you'll see things like B or 2B or H, 2H on some pencils, and that's what it means. It's like just how hard the lead or graphite is in the pencil. So let's take a shot at drawing that fox again. So I could use the dots to kind of help me along with drawing that fox, and you could see in the video where I drew him on the screen, I actually started on paper, so I did a couple little drawings there to just get the shapes down. The dots do help draw circles, but then I gotta count dots to make sure I'm getting a good circle going there. I'm not going to do that this time. I'm just going to draw. So I'm not even using the dots, but let's start with a circle. Just kind of draw slightly above center in the page. So that way we have room for his body underneath here. And again, like drawing on the lighter side, you don't want to be pushing too hard into the paper because then it's going to be really hard to erase these lines after you've got them set in there. And I hope you can see that pretty good. So again, starting off with a simple shape, a circle, and then another part of a circle that's got a kind of a wavy line cutting across it there. I had the bump up here a little off center from the circle because if I were to draw a center line across that circle, it would come through here. So that bump kind of starts a little bit more on this side. And the reason for that is that's because I'm going to put the nose right over here. That we can kind of darken in a little bit. Another thing about the graphite in the pencils, the lead, is that with softer ones you could get darker colors. So this is good for a light sketch right now, and we can darken it up with different pencils after. Or another thing, I was thinking about drawing with pen, but I wanted to be able to erase and show you some of these. Just draw it the way I drew it with pencil and draw. Fix that line over there. And maybe go back and erase some lines and show you how I redo some of the things. So again, let's go to the eye here, and it's just going to be two loops coming over with a little space in between. So have a line there and another line here. All right. So that's going to be the white spots for his eyes and a little oval in there, which I'm not even going to color in now. I'll save that for the darker pencil. But I brought up pens because once we get our final sketch in and kind of erase some of the unwanted lines, you could go over it with a nice dark pen after and kind of just draw smooth lines, just trace over the pencil and erase any unwanted lines after. And the pen should stay on the paper if you erase lightly enough. Let's give him some eyebrows. We can go ahead and draw those ears in right quick. Again, they don't need to be perfect triangles because there's no perfect lines in nature. Now, how am I going to draw this other ear? Kind of want it to be about the same height, so maybe coming up to that dot there. That's where the dots help me. I don't have to. I would just kind of draw like a line over the top and try to keep it the same space, like very lightly, just so I know where that other ear is going to go up to. I'm turning to kind of, just so I can draw smooth curves this way. It's easier to draw the curves that way. So just turning the pad as we draw. All right. You'll see my my sketching, my way of sketching lines is to kind of do little scratches across. Let's see, then we'll come down from the nose, get that middle portion of his mouth here. Okay, there. And we're going to keep maybe about this part of his mouth here. And I have a, if you have a nice like hard eraser with a nice sharp edge, that would be great to use for this. I do not have that right now. I have a moldable eraser. It's like clay, so you can actually bend it and get it to a nice flat point like that there, and get into some hard to reach places. Just kind of rub that off there. This also works pretty good with charcoal, which I love using charcoal. This is harder to do. I should have just gotten a regular eraser, but this was in my drawing box here. I have a little, like an old chocolate box that was like fancy chocolates, and I decided to use it to put all my drawing supplies in. So I have my nice pens over here, and I have some colored pencils here, and some, here's the box, a little sharpener and some charcoal just to kind of get through. Easy to travel with. Okay, I erased a little bit too much of that line there. So there's a little bit of the fox there. I'm not going to go too much into trying to erase things right now, because ideally I would probably go over this with pen just to see how it looks. But let's follow some of these lines down to the neck. So coming down and just kind of keeping that curve. That'll help it look connected. So we got a neck, and I think in the drawing I did on screen, he had his chest kind of stuck out a little, so smooth curve out, and like that. And then we worked on the back paw, just kind of drawing lightly and kind of get that back part. There we go. So now the trouble of matching the paw that's in the front of him a little more here with the one in the back. Already failing at it. Oh well, we'll erase some of these lines after. And just trying to see like right where I am in between those two dots here. When I drew on screen, I actually put a line over there so I could see, keep the paws a little even, on even ground, like that. That's pretty good. And then we had his back, coming round a little bit and then dropping down to where his tail was going to be. So let's see if I could do that in one smooth line. It's kind of a round and down, right about there. And we're going to have his tail kind of trying to draw it as lightly as possible on the page so I don't have to erase too much. Just to get an idea of where the shape of the tail is going to be. Let me come. And once I see kind of like where the shape is that I want to keep, that's when I'll go over a little darker. It's harder to keep nice smooth lines. So I get this top part of the tail. Like that. Alright, that's coming together. Now the back leg on the side here, I think it came up in a little bit of a loop like that. And maybe a little bit of the leg there. Yeah. That. You might be able to see a little bit of paw behind the tail there, and then the back leg on the other side, it's going to be about the same height, so it would start somewhere back here behind him and come down like this, and then ankle and paw down back here. So we can see a little bit of that back paw behind him, and here's like the ground line. So I have the front paws and the tail coming over there, so it looks like it's a little closer, and that back paw is already kind of behind a little more, so it's more on the line. Right, and I'm trying to keep this one short, so I'm not just. I don't want to rush you, but I also don't want it to be like a nice short 2-hour-long video on how to draw this little guy. So that's pretty good. And you could put in little details like above the paw, just little lines over here to just show that there's a little bit of roundness where the paw is sticking out forward towards you a little more. Getting the little lines on the tail there. Remember whiskers, and since he's seems to be in a pretty good mood, the whiskers would come up to kind of match his smile, and his eyes kind of seeming like he's in a pretty good mood. And I think I mentioned yesterday in my other drawing, like if you wanted to show a little bit of sadness, the eyes would be down a little more. Whiskers would come down to kind of match his frowning face. But yeah, that came out really light. Probably not very good. All right. Yeah, so if I wanted to darken that up now, I could do it with a softer pencil to kind of come in, and you could see the color already changing. And that's where even drawing with pencil, if you have a few different pencils that you can draw with, that some are a little softer than others, you can kind of build your sketches up layer by layer and just kind of add a little darkness to them, a little bit at a time. But because that's how it's done. It's trying to find the lines you want to keep, and building them up. Getting some darkness where the darkness should be, and keeping everything else kind of on the lighter side. Wherever there's white or wherever there's light shining on things. And draw that line down, connect. And I think even yesterday we drew a little bit of hair over there, just to show a little bit of fuzziness on this guy. A little bit of hair kind of in the ears here, just so it doesn't look like it's a completely smooth circle going around. Add a little bit of fuzziness. Kind of darkening up those ears a little bit more. Because the ears are black. And even over here where I drew kind of a straight line down, you could have done, I'll do it on this side, like a little bit of just kind of like fuzziness over there. He is a furry critter, so it would make sense that the lines would look a little fuzzy. Alright, I'm not going to trace over the whole body, but you could see where, you know, just starting with really light lines and kind of building up. I went straight to a softer, like the softest pencil I have, so it would make like really dark lines. But you could do it with a black pencil, draw with a regular pencil and just kind of get the light lines in, and then you can start kind of building up with maybe a black pencil to get some more darkness on the outlines. And if I, let's see, really wanted to go nuts, I could use the pen to kind of go smoothly over some of those lines and darken them up. And then you can go back over after and erase some of that pencil so just the pen would show. And that would look pretty clean and neat. So there's different ways to go about finishing the drawing, but the start of the drawing will always be kind of light lines, trying to find just the right curve around some of these shapes, because I mean, animals' bodies, faces, they're pretty hard to draw and find where things should be. It's not easy. It takes practice, and even I'm not pretty good. You could see some of my lines aren't all that smooth. But I mean, this was just real quick. I bet you'd spend a good bit of time just trying to practice and just practice drawing this. And if you want, you could draw it in your own style, and you could, I mentioned in the other video, you could trace over the shape. Like once you get the lines dark, you could probably trace over that easily with one piece of paper. And if you didn't like how the body turned out, just start over with a new body. Give them a different body. You could have them maybe standing upright and with his elbows out to the side and hands like this. Something like that. And it seems like it'd be a slender kind of dog. This isn't going to be too good, but then have his tail coming up like that. So yeah, I mean, there's different ways. You can make him more upright like a person, or you can have him just fully more animal-like. But that's it. I just want to do a quick drawing to show you how I usually draw with pencil. It's just very light lines, trying to find out where the best shapes are. There's going to be, I think if I was really trying to draw a nice pencil drawing, I would be, I don't know how to leave things alone. I would be taking more time and trying to get very nice smooth lines. I mean, I even come off to the side, keep my pencil to the side instead of upright like this. Just kind of keep it to the side and just really lightly kind of get those curves in just right. I'd be a little more careful so that way I could go back and erase things a little more. But I mean, that's pretty good. Quick little line drawing, just to get the outlines down. That would be very easy to color into because you have nice dark lines keeping in the shapes. So you could see some orange, reddish orange around here, and white inside the ears, black up here. I think the front legs and back legs would be black up to a certain point, maybe up highish. But yeah, I mean, it just takes time. The process would be get the light lines down, darken the lines that you want to keep, erase some of the lines you don't, and just build it up. But I hope that helps. Um, I want to see I want to see pictures of what you do and how your fox turns out. I gave you a couple of different ways that I do it. But I hope you find something that works for you. And also, I mean, just pick. Do you want to try to copy how other people draw? It can be a learning experience, but don't put too much pressure on yourself to copy it exactly. You can also just try to draw it your own way. Draw your own fox. Make it something that you can put your name on and say, I did that one. I wasn't just copying someone else. There's some value in that. You can say you did it on your own. But take care. Hope you're doing well. Happy birthday. Bye.